Hello and welcome to True Guidance Tarot. I'm Adriana Teodoro-Dier. I'm a practicing spiritual medium and intuitive reader, your guide to a clearer perspective. I have a message for Cancer today. This is a channeled message from my guides in spirit to help you on your path towards more abundance and more benefit. So let's look at what's going on, Cancer. It's really interesting. We have a theme of self-love not necessarily being paid attention to. So let me just read some cards to you. We have the Seven of Cups for the energy that the universe sends to you. Now this is a little bit of a, let me put him down, he's distracting me. This is a bit of a deceptive card because his attention is on possibilities. His attention is on fantasy, things that maybe aren't real. And we're talking in the realm of relationships. So cups symbolizing emotions, relationships. So looking at all of these that are maybe not real, and yet there's one here that is real. You see this cup is real and he's just not looking at it. So the universe is actually giving you an interesting message that yes, there may be lots of fantasy possibilities. There may be possibilities that are out of reality and maybe dreams that you may have. But now is about looking at what's right in front of you, which is the single cup alone. And we'll see this theme in another card and some other cards for you this week, but the big thing is it's a single cup. And so that to me talks about the relationship with self. So it's trying to give you the message of do not neglect the needs of yourself this week, the needs, your relationship needs with yourself. I don't need to to preach about why that is so important, but our relationship with ourselves is really the most important relationship. How we speak to ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, how we treat ourselves is the basis for our relationships with others. And most of the time, we tend to go about this backwards. We tend to think that the relationships are going to fulfill us in a way that actually we can take care of ourselves. That's not the function of outside relationships, but that's the subject for another reading. So let's keep going. The King of Pentacles is how you respond to this energy. So the King of Pentacles is earth. We're talking about that immovable, big earth energy. I'm kind of visualizing and feeling a big rock right now. There's a solidness to what you're thinking and what you're focused on. So you're looking at what's there. You are present to your surroundings, but this is not an emotionally introspective card. This is a different kind of card. This is one that's more concerned with materials, more concerned with money, more concerned with what's around you, and making the right decision regarding materials. That's what this guy is about. He's not a negative energy. You know, I don't feel that there's a negative energy, but I do feel that there's kind of a block. Like instead of going into that watery realm, you're wanting to stay in a different place, in that solid kind of earthly realm. So let's keep going with the cards. We've got the Eight of Wands going into the Four of Cups and then ending in the Uranus. And I'm going to put him down for a second because I want to point out something to you. Do you remember how we had this one cup here? Well, look what she's got there. One cup, and then either empty cups or overturned cups. And again, what is she paying attention to? You see, both of these cards are looking at either the fantasy cups, the fake cups, or the empty cups with nothing to offer, and they're leaving this behind. So, you know, again, this theme of really paying attention to yourself and what do you actually need in your relationship with yourself. So, oh, okay, I see where they're going. They're going in a different direction now than what I thought before. But this Eight of Wands is talking about energy thrown out into the future, usually a desire, usually a project or something that is wanted to come to completion, something that your heart really desires. But what this is actually showing us is what's going to happen in the future. So this is saying, this is kind of projecting our attention in this reading into the future. If you go into the future with this going on, where you're neglecting your own emotional body, where you're neglecting your own relationship with yourself, you end up here. So this is definitely a warning, talking about a place you shouldn't be. So they're in this, they're in the afterglow of an amazing time together. But then we've got this figure, this very ominous figure in the background. This is a wild figure of the forest. He was actually, Cernunnos was a fertility figure associated with kind of the male energy in a pagan, I'm not explaining this very well, in the pagan discipline, in the pagan world. I'm not an expert or a practitioner by any means. I just know bits and pieces of how it relates to the mythology. But the energy of this card is kind of like they're in a place where it's his domain and he doesn't want them there. It's just this feeling, when I look at this card, I just want to get away from it. Like he just does not want them there. So it's talking about valuing the wrong thing. If you are neglecting your relationship with yourself, then you're not listening to yourself. You're not listening to what's actually valuable for you and what you actually want in every moment and every time. That's why this relationship with you is important. These are actually figures from the Lovers card in this deck, and I should have pulled it out for you, but we'll just have to wait for another reading. And in that, they're in an embrace, but this is the after story. And I think the after story is that in this case, they maybe made the wrong choice. They didn't have their values in the right place. They came together for the wrong reason. And now they're in a bit of bother, a bit of trouble. I asked to clarify him because he sometimes confuses me, but we get the Six of Pentacles, which is saying that if you follow this, if you keep neglecting your relationship with yourself, you're going to end up in a position where you're forced to give more to others. You're going to encourage dependency. You're going to encourage kind of negative, and I want to say codependent patterns of behavior. It doesn't have to be limited to just your personal interactions. This can also be regarding work situations where it's unequal. You're giving more and receiving less, or not being appreciated, or not being acknowledged, or spending more and not having a big payoff. So this is all a warning that the more this relationship is neglected, the relationship with yourself, you're kind of getting off. You're going to not have you're not going to find yourself in the right place. You're not going to find yourself down the right path. So they're telling me to go to advice. So we're going to skip straight to your advice, which is the World, which is saying in this relationship with yourself, you are complete. And this is not, forsaking all others, not saying, okay, if I'm complete in my relationship with myself, clearly I don't need other people. That's not what it's saying. It's actually saying if you are complete in yourself, you have more to give other people. And anytime you go into a relationship thinking about what you can give, you are entering that relationship from your heart, from your soul, and from positivity. And you will not be taken advantage of. When we go into relationships trying to make ourselves whole, we attract other people who are doing the same thing. And what ends up happening is that we take from each other. They take from you, you take from them. In the end, nobody ends up whole. This is also saying anything you want to achieve, anything you want to attract for yourself starts with that relationship with yourself. When you have a good, positive, supporting, and loving relationship with yourself, then you are able to bring into your world those things that you desire much more easily. So the pathways open up, the vision is clearer, the judgment is clearer, everything is much more sharp, and it's easier to get where you want to go. So questions about that, please let me know. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I would please ask you to consider doing so that we can keep this positive energy flowing. And if you're looking for more one-on-one guidance or more personal guidance, I invite you to check out my website, trueguidancetarot.com. Lots of awesome offerings on there. So I'll look forward to seeing you next time, and have a great week.